Hi everybody, it's Noise Cancelling, episode 63, because it was written down by my producer so I know what episode it is. Thank you for telling me off for that time I forgot it, Pexy. Hello everyone, we're talking about tech. We'll do it tangentially rather than having to go talking about the things that everyone is talking about this week. We're going sideways, but I've got people joining me on this lateral mission. Who are they?
Hi, I'm Sherri Smith, Editor-in-Chief of Laptop Mag.
Hi, I'm Jess. I'm the UK computing writer for TechRadar.
And I'm Phil. I'm the Assistant Managing Editor at Laptop Mag.
And I'm Gareth Beavis, Global Editor-in-Chief of TechRadar. Jess and Phil, are we keeping our names singular just to be like Madonna / Pele, or is it a separate thing?
If you had a surname like mine, you'd probably want to.
Oh, now it's mysterious.
I think we've discussed this previously in the podcast. My surname sounds like Weatherbed. I'm just putting that out there. So
I don't think it does.
All right.
It does, Weatherbed.
Yeah, but you know, I feel like you're deciding whether to go to sleep or not.
That's a much nicer way of putting it. If I'd have gone to school with more people like you, my younger years would have been a lot easier, I think, Gareth.
Oh.
That's what a lot of the mums said about me when I was younger. Sherri, I just want to say kudos as well. Like, I realised that your consistency of intro is phenomenal. You know, the kind of like, I swear to God, we could just clip out your intro every single week and no one could tell if it was a new one or the same one being on record.
I aim for consistency.
You aim and you hit it. You're like my nan at Wii Sports on the bow and arrow game, who is disgustingly good at it.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, she's great. She had a little bit of thing in hospital this week, my nan. Hopefully she's all right. Just sending the good vibes to her. She's fine now, I think, but just it's one of those things that when you're far away, you think about quite a lot. So fingers crossed. That was a fun start to the message, wasn't it? Let's get on to something else. So it is it's not the T3 Awards this week, but in the Future Publishing House, the T3 Awards are a big deal. And they are being unveiled as a shortlist this week, so do go and check that out on T3. Lots of things happening there, lots of awards. They work very hard on these awards, the team, and I've said awards a lot. If we were going to do our own different awards, though, which award would you give to any brand and why? Sherri, start us off.
I would give Intel the At Least You Tried award for its up till now, until we there are some announcements that might make me rescind this award next week, but for right now, it gets the At Least You Try award for how it's been handling the rise of ARM, AMD. Well, there's so many of them at this point. Apple.
Yeah. They are just kind of all collectively dogpiling Intel at this point. It's so violent.
Dunking.
It really is. It's like they just finally figured out they can't take us all and just chart them. So and Intel has not been responding as well as I would have hoped. But again, this award might be rescinded depending on what is announced in the next few weeks. So stay tuned.
Oh, love that. You give a good answer and then you get people hyped for the next few weeks. That's just classic. I'm just lauding you as a presenter this week, Sherri.
Aww.
Might sleep. Jess.
Mine's probably more for a specific product, but I'm going to give the Did Anyone Actually Check This award to Huawei. Because one singular product. If anyone else has kind of been testing or tried out the MateBook X Pro recently,
we did.
It comes in an interesting shade called Emerald Green. And if you've actually received
nice.
It would be if it was green in any way, especially with a descriptive as strong as Emerald Green. You can, if anyone obviously, I think a lot of people do have access to Google or a various search engine at this point. But if anyone wants to just look up the colour of the Huawei MateBook X Pro, it is teal at a push in images. You could probably look at it and go, yeah, I could see how that would be maybe greenish. In real life, it's not. It's blue. It is the bluest thing I've ever seen in my life. And the fact that it came with a colour labelled emerald green got me really excited as a fan of all things green and green products, peripherals, technology. More things should come in green and orange and yellow. And I got it and it was blue. And I was so annoyed that it's on my perspective shit list at the minute.
Some of the I'm looking right now, some of the shots do look fairly green. I'd argue almost emerald, but I think, based on what you're saying, it looks like that's not true.
I've got it in a box to the right of me. I can assure you it is not green. It's not emerald green. It's not teal green. It's not any kind of green. It is blue.
And you know what's more interesting? The fact that's more interesting, like this is actually going to be interesting. The Huawei once had a press conference where the first, I think, hour or at least half hour was them talking about how they'd reinvented the color green for a phone. So it's not just they've got heritage in colors, just it's green. I mean, maybe that's the thing. They're like, you know what? We own green now. You aren't the person to say what green is anymore. We got that. So, you know, maybe you're wrong, Jess.
Just an inability to get green right then, apparently, across phones, laptops.
No, you have. They're the ones they've reinvented green. They've told us and given a good reason for it when Pantones were in. So maybe we're wrong. Philip, what about you?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with colors here and say that the best tint of purple award goes to Apple. That phone got so much press and so much buzz on social media when I think if any other company had released it, it would have just been, you know, here's our new phone, let's move on. But it was such a big deal to have a purple iPhone. Good for Apple. I mean, I like making fun of Apple because it's like, you know, it's like picking on the kid who gets straight A's. You know, they make great products, but it's just too easy to pick on.
But it's also cool, you know.
Oh yeah, no, get straight A's. Don't be a bully. Getting good grades is great. That's mine.
Yeah, that's nice.
I can definitely join in with the bullying Apple despite how good they are kind of sentiment. That is one of my favourite pastimes. I think me and Phil are going to be quite good friends in this.
Down the underground station, Apple's got a huge marketing campaign. That's down the whole way down a walkway is just the new iPhone 12. And me and the little one were walking down and she was highlighting how the new iPhone is exactly the same colour as her trainers. And there's a picture of her high kicking the thing to show that they are so similar. And they are. She's bang on. She could do Huawei's new marketing of like colours. She's like, that's not green, this is green. And they were like, shit, she's right. Like, oh no. Like this is the consultant we needed all along.
I'm curious what y'all thought and your colleagues about that color purple, because the Laptop Mag staff wasn't too keen on it.
Yeah. I was hoping for like a deep amethyst, something like a purple, like that purple.
It just sounds nice.
I'm liking this like summer of pastels though. I think it's lovely. Again, a huge critic of Apple just because it's kind of fun to do so, but I did slightly lose my mind when I saw the color lineup for the iMac range. Just because I joked about having an orange computer or a yellow computer, thinking, well, who would actually do that? Apple, of all people, apparently said, you know what? Yeah, we'll do that. We'll make it cool again.
Well, there you are. I mean, I find it weird that this is purple, then the iPhone 11 was also purple, but a very different kind of light purple. You know, again, I think we're just proving that companies and colors, you know, maybe we shouldn't let them have it. Maybe they should come to us to be like, this is going to be the color we go for. I've often thought, like, I know this is a complete manipulation of the media, but what if every tech blog got together and just like talked about a new phone color coming out from a popular brand to the point where everyone was so excited about it, they just had to release it? You know, like the new Samsung Galaxy S22 is going to be electric blue. We get every editor on board, like, yeah, let's just make sure this happens, and off we go. But no, media should be impartial. Don't do that, Gareth. Carry on. My award is going to be the Come On Award, which we are going to talk about. We are going to be talking about this later in the show, but this week Facebook and Instagram in one of the admittedly I haven't seen this screenshot, so if it turns out to be a fake, I will look stupid. But the screenshot doing the rounds of the new ad tracking in the app, that's allowing people in iOS 14.5 has to be enabled so that Facebook can keep tracking you, to keep giving you ads. It's a very important part of the business model. And one of the things it purportedly says is if you do this, it'll keep Facebook free. And I'm like, come on. We all know you're not going to start charging for Facebook. Like, don't use this as a kind of very mild threat of whatever you want to call it for the fact about it. So I'm like, no, not having it. No, just no. That's the award.
It's definitely on brand though for Facebook.
I do foresee just like a mass exodus away if they ever try to charge for it though. Just the amount of people that use it
and Instagram though.
Yeah. Well, Instagram, I think, would maybe survive through youth usage, but actually just using Facebook as a social platform, I wouldn't pay for Facebook.
No.
I would just close it immediately.
No.
I'd pay for Instagram. I'd pay a small monthly fee for Instagram if I actually found it relevant and I just wanted people to like pictures of my face or my dog or my Starbucks drinks. I'm fine with that. My ego will sacrifice £2 a month or a couple of dollars, but Facebook, no.
$2 a month for Instagram. God, don't say that out loud and record it on a podcast, because that would be a business model.
I'm not saying I advocate it happening. I'm saying like if push came to shove, then my arm would be twisted, but they could.
Which is what this is, though.
That.
They said if they start doing it, what will happen? Will you pay for it? And you're like, yep, going for that.
Are they willing to take that risk? I'm very unreliable. I could just be saying that. And then if they actually try and do it, I'll be like, nah, yeah, I was kind of lying about that. Sorry. If you've based your entire business model, Instagram, off of expecting me to pay for something, then I will not, out of spite.
You're a Machiavellian genius. You could take down the whole internet like this. Right, what's going on? That's the name of the next section. Last week we talked about headphones. The week before that we talked about phones. This time we're talking laptops, which makes sense. So we've got the editor-in-chief of Laptop Mag. We've got a computing writer and the assistant... Sorry, what was it? The assistant managing editor? Philip, sorry, I should remember your job title. Yeah, I got it right. Of Laptop Mag here. So 3 people who know a lot about laptops and me who's owned 2. So you were really the right group of people to tell you all about the world of laptops. But this has been a good, fun conversation the last 2 weeks, so we're hopeful this week again will be exactly the same. I shouldn't really be talking it down. You're listening already. Carry on. Sherri, what's the best laptop you've ever used?
Ooh, that depends on the genre.
Straight away, not my answer to that question would never be genre based. It would be the second one I owned. So carry on.
The most innovative by far goes to Asus, and I think I'm going to give it to the Mothership. That all-in-one laptop hybrid that they came out with a couple of years ago that just had all the bells and whistles for no freaking reason. And it looked like a Parliament Funkadelic type of deal, and I was immediately enthralled. My favorite gaming it's always going to be an Alienware. Alienware just hits that sweet spot of power, customization, and just gaudy opulence that I just can't say no to.
So I didn't realize that when you said the Mothership, I was like, why don't you tell us the name of it? But it was genuinely called the Mothership.
Yes, the ROG Mothership.
And so, but that's the ultimate gaming laptop, and yet you're saying it's not the best gaming laptop.
No, that's the most innovative.
Okay, fine. Okay, right. Yeah, we are really talking genre here. Well done.
Yeah, premium. It's a toss up between the XPS 13 and the HP Spectre X360. Business, I'm gonna go with the HP Elite Dragonfly.
I mean, Jess and Philip, if you've got any answers here, you probably should get them in quick because Sherri's listing every laptop that's ever been listed.
All right. I'm gonna back off.
I'm agreeing with the HP Dragonfly. That's a beautiful laptop. I really do like that. I completely kind of on the I don't claim this to be the best laptop ever, but it's certainly the favorite that I've used. I am loving the Acer Swift 5 at the minute. I adore that. It's the sweetest little laptop that could. It's like little underdog. The battery on this thing lasts for nearly 16 hours. It is super quick, super lightweight. It's just this petite little thing you can chuck in your bag, and it comes with just a really nice kind of the one that I've been using anyway has a brushed matte grey finish with some rose gold little accents on it. I think it's really pretty.
And they call it blue normally.
It's a sweet little thing. I just love it to pieces. I got it in. Not that I didn't have any expectations for it, but the fact that it's knocked me away as much as it has, if I had to actually buy a personal laptop again, it would be that, hands down. Gaming, I reviewed a few weeks ago the Gigabyte Aorus 17G, which is an absolute beast of a thing. Not necessarily in terms of it's really, really powerful, but if anyone remembers gaming laptops from like 2014, 2013 kind of thing, where you look like you could build houses out of them, they were just bricks.
Yeah,
it doesn't pretend to be anything other than a gaming laptop. Gigabyte have pretty much released this thing and gone, there you go. It weighs about half a ton. It doesn't look like it's anything that you would take into an office, but it's also got an inbuilt mechanical keyboard, so I can annoy people with tappy noises on the go.
Oh God, why would you do that?
Love it. It's amazing. I really do love that gaming laptop.
I want to go back to the ROG Mothership because I hadn't heard of this before. Probably should have done, but this thing looks amazing. So I like if you look on a website for it, the whole thing is rethink the form factor, aluminium unibody, milled to perfection. And then it's got the specs, sort of like RTX 2080, yeah, a bit older. Versatile setup, detachable keyboard, CNC unibody. They're not really consistent there in the thing that people want to read about. Like, it's a very strange device, but I love the fact that you can pull it apart and be like a stand-up machine and then game separately, but then together. Why are there more laptops like this? Why isn't this the archetype? Yeah. I'm asking the key questions here, see?
It's a little chunky. It's a little big. It's more like a portable 2-in-1.
Yeah.
I mean, like a portable all-in-one.
But isn't that what we want? You know,
It's
taking our computer
kind of what
with
we
us.
want. It's not that portable, I think, is the biggest issue. And the battery, Sherri, I might be mistaken. Did it need 2 power cords, or is that
No, it actually
that one needed one?
It was one. It wasn't an Origin.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's just it's a big thing. But I like the idea. I like the concept. It definitely has its place. It was also extremely expensive. That was one of them.
I probably like just the in terms of consumer appeal as well. I look at that and go, oh, that's interesting. You know, that's really quirky. But if I had the same amount of money, would I ever buy that over something that just is consistently a good gaming laptop and doesn't have all the gimmicks that I would never use? No, never in a million years. If I had that cash, I would spend something more intended just for a gaming purpose.
Or a small car.
Or a small car. Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, let's flip it around then. So, what really pisses you off about laptops, Jess?
In general? Oh, God.
I'm not like a guy called laptops.
I'm trying to think, like, put my finger on it. This probably isn't the best question for me because I'm recently more of a laptop convert. I was very anti-laptop for a long time in that kind of edgy, oh, why would you ever get that when a desktop is clearly better kind of thing. But
I don't know if we'll get along anymore, Jessica.
Yeah, I know. I said I'm a convert. I'm
They work for Laptop Mag.
Yeah. I'm redeeming myself here. Come on, let me.
All right, we'll give you the pass.
The laptop was just something that I used when I was absolutely pushed to. I didn't use one for work. I didn't use one for gaming, for contacting family or friends or anything like that. And then the releases that I've actually had hands-on experience with the past few years have definitely changed my mind in that. I can take stuff like those little the Asus Swift 5 anywhere I go. The HP Dragonfly is probably one of the better work-orientated devices at the minute for fans of Windows on the market. God, there's nothing about them that really annoys me other than the fact that they're so expensive, but then they have to be with the latest hardware. I'm annoyed that a lot of them don't have the nipple on them anymore. That's really stupid, but I miss the
really?
the touch point.
Really?
Yeah.
No one's ever used that.
Nope.
Oh my God, I beg to differ. Avram Pilch over at our sister site Tom's Hardware would give a hard disagree to that statement. He loves that thing. Like when I first interviewed at Laptop, I was doing my research, reading through the articles, and Avram had a article up called "Looking for Nub in All the Wrong Places," espousing the beauty and utility of the pointing stick.
Yeah.
See, I know Avram, and I know that he's written a really good article, but I still don't believe he didn't backfill that headline. He was like, "I've got the headline. What am I going to write about?"
He had to learn to love it just to get that article out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I've got one on my computer, and I've often tried to work it out. And I'm like, this is just a shit compared to the trackpad. I can't do it as well. What's the benefit of this little nubby nub thing?
Yes, so the benefit is that you can keep your fingers on the home row without sort of moving them down to use the touchpad. So you can have all your fingers there and continue to type while using the button. And that's why you have the 2 clickers above the touchpad, so you can kind of easily reach down.
Yeah, I like that bit. Yeah.
But it's hard to, I don't know, I've always found it hard to navigate. It's not as sensitive. Maybe I'm just not good at using it.
No, it's not as sensitive. Separate thing, I found I met someone recently who didn't know what the shift key did on a computer.
What?
Genuinely never knew.
There's been people talking about that with me being a youth, as my nan would call them, and I'm on TikTok. I get a lot of computing and laptop discourse that happens on TikTok, and apparently people genuinely didn't know that you could just capitalize letters using a shift key. Yeah, they were genuinely, like, they went through their entire I don't know, school life hitting caps lock, capitalizing letter, and then going off of it.
Wow.
I've seen this pop up, and it's one of those things where, like, I never know if teenagers are pulling my leg, but I've seen it enough times now where I'm thinking that can't be true. That really cannot be true, surely.
The shift key I've heard of, that's a new one for me.
Speaking of the shift key, I do have a question. Do y'all use the left and right shift key?
No, hang on.
Oh yeah, this is contentious.
For writing, no. For gaming, yes.
Hang on, I'm just pretending to type. No, I use the left one. I don't use the right one ever.
Sherri's a right shift key first typer.
What?
That's fine. You know.
I'm right-handed. Why wouldn't I be using that's my dominant hand?
But I'm right-handed.
Yeah, but that's like saying you only type with your right hand.
I don't think I've ever used that button.
You know, I don't know. I still don't really know what Alt GR does, if I'm honest. Like, Why is alt GUR better than alt? So I've often wondered on a keyboard. I could Google it, but I was about to say I've never needed it, but then it could be the same thing as everyone's
I think
like.
it's time to write an article about it.
Yeah, exactly. This is like, Gareth, you didn't know that's what that did. How are you doing it?
I guess that goes into my pet peeve about laptops. Like when there needs to be keyboard space, the right shift key always gets the janky, like end of the stick. They shrink it, and I'm like, why would you shrink this? Like there's a whole ass control key that you can shrink. Like maybe don't add those arrow keys. Who's really using the arrow keys? Outside of it, like, especially if it's not a gaming laptop, who's using them?
I use them all the time.
For what?
Spreadsheets. Never getting around a spready. I'm going to drop down, write something in, drop down, write something in, jump across.
Why not use the tab and the...
Tab and enter?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You seemed so confident when you came back with that, Gareth, as well.
Yeah, I was very confused.
Well, because they're all in the same place. Like return and tab, they're on different sides of the keyboard. It's like the Romulets and Capulets.
I am...
Montagues and Capulets. It's like Romulets isn't a word. Different sides of the keyboard.
That's the Star Trek thing. Are you thinking of Romulan? Romulans and Vulcans.
Yeah, that was it. I've never watched Star Trek, but that's what was straight into my head.
There was another very small one, just because I remember a few years ago when I was conflicted about buying a graphic design system. I traditionally used Wacom for a great many years, but their Cintiq line was very expensive for anyone that does any kind of graphic design. It's basically in a big additional monitor that you can use a pen directly on the surface, which at the time when Cintiqs first came out was really impressive and also equally very expensive. People in the art community were talking about the iPad Pro and Windows Surface. Mm-hmm. And if the Windows Surface had been better, my allegiances would have changed. But I'm so annoyed that the Surface range sucks so badly for drawing. Like, it's very rare to find an artist that actually uses that over the iPad Pro system at the minute. If you want something a little bit more portable that you can draw on the go. If the Windows Surface line had been better, the latency had been improved, the pen was as good as the Apple Pencil, then I'd have been so happy. But I can't run a lot of the same kind of native Windows apps on an iPad, or it's a pain in the ass to actually do so if you want to. So yeah, Windows, please get yourself sorted, please. I was about to say get your shit together, but that feels a bit rude. But if they can just like pull their finger out and make that a million times better, then I'd greatly appreciate it.
And you would never go for the iPad Pro?
So yeah, we're seeing more and more of those detachables, those Surface competitors. But for whatever reason, they're only geared toward business users. So like Dell just launched one, and Lenovo did with the ThinkPad X12 detachable. And because they're for enterprise users, they cost a fortune. They start at like $1,500. But I'm hoping they make consumer versions of those, because I agree that the Surface Pro needs more competition.
And Jess, you'd never use an iPad Pro?
No, I have an iPad Pro. It's one of the few things that kind of held me back from my escaping completely from the Apple ecosystem. I fully respect people who are still in there. It has so many different advantages, but I was an iPhone user, an iPod user, everything Apple. I went over to more of a Windows system other than computers, and the lack of competition for how good the iPad Pro is for artists meant that I realistically had no other choice. It was more expensive to get a dedicated graphics tablet for a desktop computer or a laptop, and that you can't take on the go. Just buying the iPad Pro, which I think was £1,100 or something at the time. I've got a third gen. It made financial sense. Everything about it made sense. But I was really salty that Apple were just dragging me in again with how good they are, annoyingly.
Thing that you wanted to do the thing you needed.
Yep.
What about the 2-in-1, the ones that fold back? We call bend back or 2-in-1 laptops. Are you opposed to that form factor?
No, I'm not opposed to the form factor. I'm opposed to, from the reviews from the video demonstrations that I'd seen at the time, because I wasn't working in computing back then. It was more of an art focused role I had. The latency was just completely terrible for me. The lag made them completely unusable for illustration, design, rendering, for my opinion, for what I was doing at that point, especially at university. So when I had the direct this versus iPad Pro, whatever the product was available at the time, the 2-in-1s, the other opposing brands, it was just always the iPad. It wiped the floor with them.
Right, well, let's talk about what's happening right now. Sherri, we've just had the new Samsung laptop range, and in our computer editor, Matt Hansen, he's been opining about how it's not exciting anymore. Not even anymore, just that Samsung doesn't seem to have the same traction like we talked about with Dell and HP and all those other brands. Like, why isn't Samsung in the game? Why are you smiling?
I have to disagree with this because and I'm ahead of the curve. Like 2, 3, maybe 4 years ago, I wrote Samsung a loving diss track called Samsung, Why Are You Like This? And it was basically telling them that they needed to stop making laptops because they have been slipping. They got really, really into the phones, like the Galaxy line that really started taking off. Their TVs were like really, really taking off, and all of the other appliances that they do, washers, dryers, Frigidairs. Like, did you know that Samsung gives you a smart Frigidaire now? Okay. But the laptops that I used to love, oh my God, I used to be so excited when a Samsung laptop would come out. They'd always be the most colorful. They'd be the slimmest. Like oh my God, even their gaming laptops, the Chronos. Oh my God, I loved that thing when it came out. And then they just started resting on their laurels, and things started just getting gray. Okay, it's gray. It's gray. Oh, it's a little chunky. It's nondescript gray. So I wrote this loving love letter to them. They were not happy about it for a couple of years. I'm still not sure that they're happy about it. In the aftermath, right afterwards, I went into a Samsung event and everyone was giving me the evil eye. I just didn't care because what you gonna do? Fight me? Can't whoop my ass. And then at a week after that, they came into the office to discuss with me my op-ed. But since then, particularly this week, they came out with 2 beautiful laptops in the form of the Galaxy Book Pro and the Galaxy Book Pro 360, which I'm actually going to turn this over to Phil because he's had the pleasure of he's currently reviewing one. But from what I saw, it's lightweight, it's sexy, it's got a very nice color. It's so freaking lightweight. For a 15-inch or even a 13-inch, and they're putting all these bells and whistles in there. So I think Samsung might be back.
Yeah, I have been testing this is the Galaxy Book Pro 360, so the 2-in-1 version. And absolutely what Sherri said, they're definitely on the right track to kind of going back to it's always been a bumpy road for their laptop division, but this feels like a step in the right direction. But just to echo what Sherri was saying about Samsung previously having really nice designs, do yourself a favor and Google Samsung Series 9 right now. That laptop came out in 2012, and it is, I think that design would stand up against any today.
Agreed.
It was spectacular.
And since then, Samsung it just seems like they haven't put that much effort into their laptops. They've sort of been banking on their phones and TVs and whatnot.
That is really nice.
But this new Galaxy Book is
look at it,
ridiculously thin for a 15-inch laptop. I mean, it's like 0.44 inches, I think, if I'm not mistaken. It weighs 3 pounds. It is crazy, crazy thin for its size. I can't say too much about it until the full review comes out, but I will say that, the colors they're using are really nice. They're not claiming this is green, which is good.
That's a good shout. Yeah.
It looks great. And they're using really the problem with super thin 15-inch and 17-inch laptops is that they typically just flex all over the place. There's too much surface area, so the lid will flex, the keyboard will flex, but they're using really high-grade aluminum, and it definitely shows. So I would definitely look out soon for full reviews to come out of this thing because I think Samsung could take people by surprise.
I mean, should they call them Sambooks?
Definitely.
No, I don't think so. Controversial opinion there. Well, maybe not. I don't think anyone maybe cares deeply about what Samsung calls their laptops, but Sambooks just sound weird.
I don't like it as I said it out loud. I wrote it down and I don't like it.
Sambooks.
Same books.
And I mean, Samsung also last year. Well, not Yeah, was that last year with the that fire engine red Chromebook?
Chromebook, I was going to
Yeah.
talk to you. The one that you loved, the 4K OLED screen on a Chromebook.
It's just unnecessary opulence, and will never say no to that. Even if it is a Chromebook, I was so conflicted. Like Chromebook, no, but so pretty, yes.
The new ones have got like a really nice pink version, haven't they, as well? There's like a pink variant in the new releases.
What? I want to see it.
I'm pretty sure I may be making it up, but I'm very sure I've seen like one of the nicest shades of pink I've ever seen in a device on one of the new Samsung laptop releases.
Jess is very convincing though, so even if it's not true.
I'm very convincing. I could just be lying and leading you on, who knows, just for giggles. No, I'm pretty sure I've seen a pink version of this. I'm going to look like a right tit if there isn't, and that was just some other release. But
Oh my god! All right, that's officially going into my vocabulary. Thank you.
It's a very English thing. Right, before we move on, very quickly, Phil, what's the future of laptops in 2 sentences?
Supply shortages. I'll do 2 words. It's going to be rough for a while. It's going to be rough until the end of this year, and it probably going into the first quarter or half of next year. And that will slow down progress, I'm sure. It's just chip shortages, display shortages, you name the component, there isn't enough of them. Everything is out of stock. So it is slowing things down. But if we look beyond that, I think we'll continue to see more dual screen devices, more foldable devices. I can't say for sure those things will catch on. I'm sure to some people they will. Some of them will fail, and I'm sure we'll just sort of phase out. But I see more of that, and just speed and battery life. We're seeing it already. Runtimes now, it's not uncommon to see a laptop last for 15 hours on a charge, and that we couldn't say a couple of years ago. And that's really a result of AMD and Apple pushing, and Intel. They're not far behind, I wouldn't say, but there's definitely competition now in the chip space, and that's only going to be good for consumers. So expect faster speeds, longer battery life, and then like in gaming, I mean, the performance increases have just been exponential. It's crazy to think, to look at what you could play just 4 or 5 years ago versus what you can play today. And so I don't really see that changing. I just see it continuing to spike, but we got to get through these supply shortages first.
Okay, that was a long 2 sentences. Thank you, Phil.
Sorry. Should have stuck with supply shortages.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Jess, can you beat that? You have to do it in under 20 sentences.
I don't know. Phil kind of like covered it all in his really long 2 sentences. I'm going to piggyback off of the gaming laptop thing, just because I'm quite passionate about this as a subject, and I think they don't get nearly as much love as they actually deserve. And it's very frustrating that there's a sense of kind of elitism between people that use desktops. So if you're into PC gaming, or you're looking to get into PC gaming, please consider a gaming laptop. One of the new NVIDIA RTX 3000 series, and AMD, when they eventually release their mobile chips, would be probably worth getting as well. But for what I've seen in the new NVIDIA releases, they'll knock your socks off. You'll be playing games that you never expected to play on these things. It's not worth waiting for the GPU shortages to end when there are so many really amazing gaming laptops that you can buy right now.
Sherri, can you do under 15 sentences?
Let's go for it. Opulence. I'm always going to go for opulence, because opulence when it comes to a laptop means innovation. So that means that I get dual screens. I'm hoping that next, in a couple of years, we'll have detachable second screens. So picture the Asus ROG Zephyrus Duo or the Asus ZenBook Pro Duo, and you just can pop off the secondary display, use it as a little tablet, and when you're done, pop it back on. So just out of the realm of imagination type of deals. I'm always about cutting edge design and innovation. So I think that there's more of that down the line that we have yet to see, especially if you just look at patents, particularly Apple. Apple has been having some really interesting patents that it's been winning. Removable touchpads or retractable touchpad, like all types of things they want to do. Now, will any of this come to fruition? Who knows? But I am always going to bet on innovation and opulence.
Great. Well, I feel like actually we covered laptops in a very responsible manner. Well done, us. I'm proud of this podcast today. We did very well. Right, let's go to the Gadget Hall of Fame. We've got 2 guests duking out this week, which is very exciting. We're running short on time today, so let's make sure we make this a nice and quick game. A quick game is a good game. So, Phil, you've got 2 options. Jess, you've got 2 options. Phil, what's your first pick and why?
Yeah, you'd think I would pick a laptop, but I'm actually going to stray here, and I'm going to choose a dark horse and go with the Nokia Lumia 920.
I love
can see
that phone.
I see the heads shaking.
No, I love that phone.
Thank you,
It
Sherri.
was just,
Sherri's got my back.
again, opulence and just over the topism come
Yes.
through with all those megapixels.
It was the first phone that you could actually take photos in low light with. It was one of the first phones to use wireless charging, and it had that beautiful like polycarbonate resin. It weighed like 15 pounds, but that design was just indestructible. You could drop that thing from the roof and it wouldn't break. So it had a lot of things going for it. I don't want to harp too much on what happened to Nokia and their reliance on Windows, the Windows mobile operating system, and how that all panned out, because it was very sad to see. But they had a lot of really smart ideas that we're still using today. They were the first to wireless charging. They were the first to of the floating lens or optical image stabilization. They had really a lot of good innovations, but they stuck with Windows, and I think that ended up being their downfall. So I got to give it to that. I was going to say the Nintendo 64 just for the memories, just good memories of me playing with my brothers when I was a kid, but I'm going to stick with Nokia here.
Okay, Jess, can you beat that?
No, because I don't even know the name of mine, but I think this is going to be a familiar memory that everyone kind of has.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, hear me out. Right. Not even pre-iPod days, but kind of in the early dawn of iPod, where people were walking away from Discmans and cassette players if you were in my poor household, because we did still use cassette players for some reason for a long time.
Great reason. Can't skip on the cassette. Fine.
I had a Christmas present when I was probably about 12, 13 years old, and it was my first MP3 player. This was a
wonderful,
probably nameless, brandless thing that had fallen off the back of a lorry somewhere. It wasn't any kind of known... I would love to sit here and be like, oh yeah, I had a really early Sony MP3 player. No, I have no idea what this thing was. It fell apart within 6 months of using it, but that was my first taste of digital downloads for music outside of a CD. And I remember spending hours and hours after school every day burning CDs into MP3s on my like rickety home desktop computer to put onto my MP3, which I think could hold like 50 songs or something, and giving them all funny names. So yeah, headphones that fell apart, like the whole thing was just cheap and cheerful. It was the thing that you wanted because you so desperately wanted an iPod. But yeah, low-income families wasn't happening, so I got a bright red, cheap MP3 player instead.
But equally, it did the job, didn't it?
It did.
It made songs. It made songs really accessible, and that's what the MP3 generation did. I feel like it's pour one out for the mini disc players of the world, because they were brilliant. But then MP3 came along about a day later, and they're like, "Oh, actually, you're shit compared to me."
I do remember like everything kind of progressed so quickly, and I know that's pretty common knowledge at this point, but I think probably maybe 2 years after getting that really cheap crap MP3 player, I then got one of my first proper mobile phones, which was a Sony Ericsson that had an MP3 player built into it.
Yeah.
Mind-blowing stuff. Oh my god, incredible. So now
range.
I didn't need anything. Yeah, it was great.
Sony Ericsson did some amazing camera phones and music phones back in the day. There was one that was this, such a good marketing tool. You could fit it inside a CD case because it was so thin. It's like you don't get that anymore. Kids listening to this, you don't understand what it was like in the good old days. Right, we've got a new game. Let's see how well it works. It's called Gareth's Higher or Lower, because I've been told to name it and I didn't think of it. So, or we could call it what Gareth wants to call it, as it's listed in the product in the production running order. Right, so it's very simple. Instead of the news blast, what we're going to do is we're going to read out these stories, and I'm going to ask you three on the call here, to to tell me whether the next story is more popular or less popular based on Google Trends pulled from a very specific moment in time.
All right.
That moment in time was, according to our producer Matt, taken at 2:45 p.m. GMT, or BST, sorry, on the 4th of May. So this is when on the 4th of May, which was the most popular topic if you're searching on Google Trends. Don't write in with anything saying how unscientific this is, because it's not. Equally, Sherri hasn't found the password for the email address yet either, so you can't write in. That's fine. Right, so story number one. We're not going to go over these too long because it will take us forever, but Apple responds to AirTag being pulled by a major Australian retailer. We're still not sure exactly what that is, but basically a Officeworks in Australia has said, nope, we're not going to sell the AirTags because of an issue that we have with them for something to do with safety, perhaps. Apple has said, no, it's fine, it's safe, but...
Isn't that child safety? Yeah.
Yeah, but I was writing this story up yesterday. I don't want to get too far into it, but it looks like it's either the fact that someone disagrees that the child can open it because Apple says it conforms, and maybe there's someone else says it doesn't, or it could just be simply that the outside of the box doesn't say that there's a coin battery inside it and only the instruction manual. Could be one of those two things. Either way, coin battery safety is important, kids. Please do listen to your parents on that. But if you're young enough to be listening to this podcast, you probably should know that already. So the next story is, as I've already talked about, Facebook and Instagram threaten to charge for access on iOS 14.5 unless you give them your data, as we've spoken about. So, team, is that more popular or less popular than the AirTag story? According to Google Trends. AirTags or iOS 14.5?
More.
I'm going to guess more as well, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is, I should say, this is all out of 100. The most popular story is 100 at its peak. AirTags was 6. iOS 14.5 was 5, so it's lower.
Oh no.
Even lower. Right. So you've already failed on the first one. Well done. Next story. Microsoft Teams is getting a surprise Minecraft integration. Did you know that? Minecraft is going to come to Microsoft Teams, because why would you not want to be distracted during this point? It's just designed to improve the online learning experience for pupils. So Minecraft, is that more popular or less popular than iOS 14.5?
Oh my god. I'm going to get all of these wrong, but I just feel like Minecraft is probably a higher in terms of like a keyword than others.
Microsoft Teams is the one that we've chosen for this keyword.
Oh, lower.
Higher. Really?
I'll go with higher.
Phil swings it, and it's right. It's 27.
All right.
27 for Microsoft Teams. Right. Next up, it's the big game everyone's talking about, the roguelike Returnal. Vic Hood, who's been on this parish before, definitely enjoyed it and spoke very highly of it and how well it worked on the PS5. But Returnal, is Returnal higher or lower in interest than the 27 of Microsoft Teams?
Oof.
Lower.
The reviews just came out. I'll say lower too.
Sherri, you...
Peer pressure is a bitch. I'm going to go with lower.
You're all correct. It's only 10. That's surprising. I thought that would be, the reviews have just popped up. I thought it'd be big right now. Okay, and probably an easier one this time. Disney Plus lets you visit Star Wars planets on your TV as a celebration for May the 4th. Be with you. Is Star Wars higher or lower than Returnal in terms of popularity?
Higher.
Higher, yeah.
Yeah, that's 38. Good one, that one. I think we're going to struggle with the next one, though, because PlayStation has partnered with Discord. So it could link the chat service to your PS5. There was talk about Microsoft buying Discord, but PlayStation's just like, no, we'll play along with you. Is Discord higher or lower than Star Wars?
Oh.
Ooh,
That's tough.
Okay.
Ooh.
I don't see anything beating Star Wars on May the 4th.
Yeah,
though, so
nah,
I'm going
I
to say
can't.
lower.
I'm going to say lower. I can't. It's no.
Big news, though.
I'm going to go higher, but I think this could be an either way. I'm so on the fence. I'm nudging between higher.
What number, Jess? Give me a number.
What was the previous one?
38.
38. I think this one is... I can't even remember if it's ascending or descending. I think this is going to be 37.
So it's ascending. So
Oh,
higher
30,
is
sorry.
better.
30, in that case, 35. 35.
So you think it's lower?
Oh my god, my brain is not working on this. I'm just going to say I think it's 35, whatever that is. I think it's so close that it must be either way, either side of it.
It's 39, Jess. Absolutely perfect. 38. One more. You were right to say higher, but you couldn't work out that 39 was a higher number than 38. So 100 is the best. One is the lowest. Yeah, 100 high, 1 low. That's the rules we're working to here.
But
I didn't explain it at the
when things
start.
rank, it's like number 1 is the best.
You're right.
Which
I should have
gets really
explained it
confusing.
better. But I'll let you have the next one because you've already said that you are an ardent TikTok fan. But TikTok was down, and users, including Jess, were angry because the popular app banned account after the glitch. They banned accounts because of this glitch. Crazy. Is TikTok higher or lower in terms of search volume and interest than Discord?
Lower. It must be lower.
Hmm.
I'm going to go with higher. If it was down, I think everyone will be surging to search for it.
Yeah, I'm going with higher.
Give me a number, Sherri.
Between what and what again?
1 and 100. 39 was for Discord.
Let's go with 42.
65. You're right. To go way higher. This was the big one. And finally, the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3 and Z Fold 3 were revealed in a massive leak. We saw lots of different pictures and ways these are going to work. It's good to see Samsung still playing with foldable phones. Was that more popular or less popular than TikTok?
Less popular.
Less. Yeah, that's going to be less.
Yeah, 25. Well done. I forgot to count how many you got right with that. This is really bad for me. You got that one wrong, 1. That one was right. So you got 2. I think you got 4. 4 out of 8. Let's say well done. You got 4 out of 8. Good start. Well done. If anyone knows differently, write in, find a way to let us know. That's all the time we've got on this week's Noise Cancelling Podcast, episode 63. Sherri, have you had a good time, and how do people get in contact with Ms. Smith 11?
I always have a good time, especially when we're talking about laptops, which are near and dear to my heart. Anyone that wants to get up with me, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Miss Smith 11. That is MISS Smith 11. So 3 S's, not 4, not 2, but 3. For all your laptop news, your tablet news, your VR headset news, headphones, all-in-ones, all the things that we cover so many things now. Like, we are on a low-key march to world domination. To stay tuned for that, always come to Laptop Mag, and as always, laptop then, laptop now, laptop forever.
Well, this episode has been laptop forever. So Jess, sorry.
Can we start some petition to start getting Sherri to do it at the end so that we don't feel completely...
Yeah, nobody wants to go after that.
No,
Jess, follow it now and make it better.
If you equally love hearing about me ranting about stuff to do with PCs and laptops, not probably as much as Sherri, but definitely ranting about GPU stock shortages, crypto mining, and various other bits and pieces, and you can find me over at TechRadar. I am also on the Twitter sphere. You can find me at zombie_wretch, because I'm a cool kid that doesn't use my actual name on Twitter.
And Philip.
That was 50% effort. I do apologize, but...
That was great. If you want to hear me talk about all the things that Sherri listed there, then please follow me on Twitter. I try to not be as boring as my Twitter handle, which is Phillip_Tracey.
It's factual and it's useful. I think, Philip, you shouldn't undersell yourself. I think you're.
I jumped on it early.
Yeah,
just because
exactly.
I knew. Yeah.
That sounds incredibly professional as well, as opposed to yeah.
I think at one point I may have been wearing a suit in my avatar, but
I'm super beef, so I haven't got any leg to stand on here. You can tweet me if you wish to. It'd be nice to hear from you. Also, do listen to TechRadar. You can't listen to it other than this podcast. Actually, read it. That's a much easier way of doing things. Check us out on the socials. TechRadar is the handle as well. We've got a wealth of stuff going on. Do I want to stop Sherri's march just to world dominance? No, I like you too much. You go for it, Sherri. You enjoy yourself. Thank you very much for listening to this episode of the Noise Cancelling Podcast as we march towards the episode 100. Will we get there? Who knows? But we'll speak to you next week. That's a certain. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
bye.